At home on every rural road, Hyundai Country Calendar.
You can have the best bulls in New Zealand, genetically or otherwise. If no one turns up, you ain't got a sale.
A South Canterbury family's breeding some of the best bulls in the business.
It's 40 years of Dad's work, so if we can produce them looking as good as we can, then, you know, it's pride for us.
And the next generation is looking to make their mark.
There's no point in trying to know everything, and my staff, my goal is for them to know more than me.
Here's the hammer. 14.
It's springtime at Kakahu Angus stud near Geraldine in South Canterbury, and calving is in full swing. Tom Hargraves is catching up with the calves born overnight with the help of his block manager Dale Boat.
We've caught a calf that was just been born within the last 24 hours. We need to mark it, which means tagging it and identifying it against its mother and knowing who its father is, and taking a TSU snip, which is for the DNA to verify exactly who it is, its parentage, and if we want to go further into depth of that animal, we can find out a lot more information. Every cow that is in calf is in this book, and we just find her and then we write the information about the calf against her number. So 93, it's 6, it's calving ease, and then it's weight. Calving ease is the ability for that cow to have a calf, or the ease of it. So 1 being completely unassisted within sort of an hour of starting and 0 help, and then 5 is assisted and the calf potentially not surviving. We observe the cow as well, and we probably put a little bit of a note on her temperament, and I'll look at her structure, I'll look at her udder, I'll look at her feet and make sure I'm happy.
When it's all done, cow and calf are happily reunited. In the last few years, Tom has been gradually taking over the running of the farm from his father, Gerald.
The learning curve was huge. I hadn't farmed apart from a few holiday jobs and 1 year on a farm in the high country, but after that I spent 10 to 12 years doing other things. Dad was very happy to drop the reins as soon as he thought I was able to take over, and I think he's loving the fact that he doesn't have to make any decisions anymore. He loves just pottering on, and he'll be there as we need him, but his main thing would be the digger and helping with the development of Kakahu. So ripping out a lot of gorse and putting in new fence lines and anything that we need to reshape, he's the man to do that. It's coming to the point where he knows he can walk away and come back at any point, and the farm is still running as well as he'd expect it to be.
Gerald's current task is tidying up after a large slip that recently wiped out one of their paddocks.
What I'm doing here now is reinstating the ground to back what it was. So I've had to strip all the topsoil off and then rebuild it and then put it back again. It's just my little project I enjoy doing, and I make myself useful without being in the road. Well, Tom's doing a great job. I mean, hell, the cattle look better. He's enthusiastic. He's done things, interestingly enough, that I should have done because I was modern in my day, but I think we slow down and we just do the easy things. Well, he's ramped up again and he's doing things that I should have done.
Taking over the farm meant Tom and his wife Anna also inherited the homestead and massive gardens from Gerald and his wife Sue.
The original garden was planted in about 1896. We've had a lot of tours in over the years. At one stage we had tour groups coming in every day for 3.5 years. And we'd give them morning tea and entertain them, and that was great fun. It was like a railway station in those days. The fact that Anna and Tom have managed to take this all on board and starting to develop it even further is such a fantastic thing for us.
We just love living here. For Francesca, having this wilderness to play in, it's incredible. The colours it produces, it wows you.
Kakahu's main focus is breeding stud bulls that they sell at their annual winter sale on the farm. Today they have the help of Bill and Judy Austin, who are scanning the bulls to check their growth.
1.96 kilos a day.
Smoker. He's 6.1.
6.1.
It's an ultrasound machine. It's just the same as a hospital ultrasound machine, but we're measuring the amount of fat on the animals, the amount of intramuscular fat, which directly affects taste and tenderness and juiciness of the steak.
40.
And we're measuring the size of the steak, if you like. We're measuring the size of the eye muscle. Your premium steak comes out of the top of an animal, and that's essentially where we're measuring. At the end of the day, we can look at an animal visually out there, but we can't see nearly as much as we can by using the ultrasound. And so this helps us make good genetic gains.
Scanning well, they're putting on weight, which is very good. They're averaging at the moment 1.5 kilos a day.
Well, the raw data is only a means to an end. That raw data goes to Armidale University in Australia, and it goes through a computer program there, because it's not just about what this one animal is, it's what his brothers and sisters and aunts and uncles are as well. And all of that data in the computer program is all calculated together to give a genetic prediction of what the animal is. And that data then comes back as an estimated breeding value for all sorts of traits, birth weight, growth, and through to the carcass end, which is what we're involved with. And that data is printed in catalogues and on the internet for farmers to source and to see, to buy a bull with more predictability of what he will do to their herd.
And Tom and Gerald hope that come June, other farmers recognise that and come to buy Kakahu bulls. The main focus at Kakahu Farm near Geraldine in South Canterbury is breeding Angus stud bulls. But it's a big property, 1,100 hectares, and that gives them scope for other things. They also run 3,000 sheep, and today the team's busy tailing the lambs that have joined the flock in recent months.
Tom.
How are we going?
Right.
Good, good.
Good sappy lambs.
Are they? They're looking good, aren't they? They'd want to be, though. It's been a good season, isn't it?
Isn't it?
Wouldn't want to be any later.
Oh no, they're big enough.
Tailing today, we've got our gang here doing all our ewes. It's great having them. They get everything done within 2 days. We used to try and do it ourselves, and it would take 10 days. We've got a mixed composite breed, a Romney-based breed from Arari Gorge Station, and then we mix it with a bit of Kelso, and there's a bit of Cootworth in there as well. And this is our single mob, one of the single mobs, so seems to be pretty good so far. I haven't had a tally up yet, but I think percentage-wise it's looking good. The weather's been fantastic for lambing, so it's been one of our better seasons, I would imagine, for quite some time.
Employing the tailing team is part of Tom's philosophy of drawing on the expertise of others.
I'm a big believer in having people that are as good, if not better than you, and that's, in my case, pretty easy. I look at the guys that are here and really appreciate what they do for me. It's as important for them as it is for me to have this farm running really well. We've got Abraham Van Wyck, who's been here for 3 months less than me, so he knows the farm pretty well.
Left.
Our 2 block managers, Dale Boat, she's been with me for 2 years. She's helping me with the stud and has a real passion for cattle. And then we've got Sean Colvert, who's been also with us for 2 years. He's block manager for the commercial side of the farm, which is equally as important as the stud, so he's got a big responsibility.
They're growing quite well now on grass.
We've got some long-term guys that have been here, like Sani, who is our go-to guy for everything that we need in terms of fencing, fixing troughs, extra pair of hands on the tractor. He's also a gardener, so he's a great asset to the team. He's been here for 20 years. I see farming as a really big business and a massive industry, and there's no point in trying to know everything. And my staff, my goal is for them to know more than me. Having them have a passion for your place helps you make those decisions and trust those guys and what they do.
In the future, Tom's looking to take a leaf out of his dad's book and develop more of the farm.
This was a block that used to be full of gorse. It's reasonably steep country, but Dad was out here in the digger root raking all the gorse up. Then we burnt it off and then flew plantain and grass seed over the area, and it's come back looking like this. It's just magnificent now. Instead of carrying 10 ewes to the hectare, it's now doing 15 to 20. Dad took the place over from his father when it was around 500 hectares, give or take, and he spent the rest of his farming career, as well as farming it, but increasing land size, so buying neighbouring farms. So he's got it up to 1,200 hectares, so my focus going forward is development. It's quite exciting for us. We've got 350 odd hectares of gorse and old pasture that we can potentially do with the chopper, so that's our plan.
But Tom's got a full plate at the moment with his other work, which requires quite a different skill set.
It's about that paint finish for the rusted look.
Tom's a qualified architect and Anna a designer, and they work together designing houses for farmers and city folk alike.
I do all the structure and the form of the building, and then Anna takes over and works with the interior of the building. So she'll do all your finishes, all the design of the kitchen and the colour scheme with the clients. So yeah, it works really well for both of us.
Tom has an incredible way with working with spaces, and I guess from the experience from farming, very functional.
Architecture was the backup plan if Tom decided not to return to farming. But now the couple juggles both. And they've put the architecture to good use, moving Tom's parents out of the old homestead and into a brand new house just down the road.
They were really good clients. They had no idea what I was going to come up with. Luckily enough, they liked what I did come up with, and I mean, I think they've been there for probably a bit over 3 years, and I don't think they'd changed too much, so it certainly worked well.
We'd bought this property, and everyone said to me, you can't build up there because it was just 100-year-old gorse. It was just an entanglement of everything. And so I had a bulldozer and I just drove it up the hill and said, this is where we're going to build. Pushed all the gorse off, put the road in and did it. And then Tom designed the house.
It's like a holiday house. I call it Port Douglas. And it really is. There's no long passages and no corners that are a nuisance, and it's designed so that we look out on the different view from every corner.
It's
They're
very
quite clever with the way they did it.
Very, very clever.
It's now late June, and Tom Hargraves is bringing in the last mob of bulls to be prepared before Kakahu's annual sale tomorrow.
Sit down, punch. Sit down, punch. Sit down, punch. Well, this is 2 years worth of mud. We just like to present them as well as we can. I suppose it's 40 years of Dad's work, and this is what we've got. So if we can produce them looking as good as we can, then, you know, it's pride for us.
Stock agent Jonty Hislop is helping.
A lot of hard work's gone into these bulls. We've got to show these guys off.
Jonty will be auctioning the bulls tomorrow.
Just steady, big fella. Just steady. Just steady.
Every one of the 130 bulls up for sale gets this treatment.
He's got some hair on him, this boy, Tom. He does. Just steady, fella.
But the beauty regime doesn't stop at a washdown.
Nice and woolly for that high country, eh? Yeah. These guys don't look at themselves in the mirror at the end, so they're okay with whatever we do. Jonty and I are both trying to make them look good, and Dad's out there looking at them, just critiquing them just at the end, just to make sure they are what we want to put through the sale ring. So, yeah, we've all got our little roles that we need to do.
I'm just going through the bulls of the final check before the sale to check the feet and whether they walk right, track right, which is putting the back foot into the front foot as they walk, and the testicles the right shape, and they don't hunt me out being too wild, so they're not wild. Come on, fellas.
Gerald and Tom pride themselves on the performance and pedigree of Kakahu bulls. Gerald sources the genes from the vast genetic pool of the American Angus herd. Data on all the bulls for sale, including the animal's fertility, carcass weights and growth rates, are in the auction catalogue.
Everything we do here is backed with science. These are a roadmap to success in an efficient breeding program. Then I go to America and I look for the size like this so that I can judge which bulls I want to use to bring back here to make a difference to my clients. It's our 40th bull sale, so we've been around for a while. It's a bit daunting. I think tomorrow's as much about pride as it's about money. But at the end of the day, no one has to turn up, so you have to make an attraction for people to turn up. And you can have the best bulls in New Zealand, genetically or otherwise. If no one turns up, you ain't got a sale.
A few years ago, snow on the mountain passes meant buyers couldn't get through to Geraldine from central Otago, and Kakahu lost half its annual income. But Tom's hoping that won't happen this year. It's sale day at Kakahu Angus stud in South Canterbury, and the team's bringing the 2-year-old bulls down to the pens to show them off. Along with the Angus, they're selling a mob of 30 Charolais bulls as well. And every man and his dog's been roped in to help.
Look how dirty they get. We've washed them. They push up against each other and being white. Their tails look nice anyway, don't they? Everything's looking good so far, but you never know how it's going to end up. But people, no excuse that they can't turn up because of the weather, so yeah, hopefully it'll be good.
With a good crowd expected, there'll be a lot of mouths to feed, and Tom's wife Anna has the menu sorted.
Well, we'll start with chicken sandwiches with mayo and spring onion, homemade pies, Angus meat from the farm. We've got a lot of whitebait. We've got 30 eggs, so you can tell there's going to be a lot of whitebait patties straight after. And of course the flowing bar, which will go into the night.
Across in the pens, the buyers are eyeing up the animals, checking the data, and deciding which ones to bid on.
But very good there and there.
Rit Fisher is a long-time customer who believes that for too long, New Zealand beef farmers have been ignoring the data-driven system that Gerald's a champion of, and they need to stop choosing bulls on looks alone.
Over the years, we've had a lot of bulls from Gerald, but in latter years, as Gerald has picked up his performance figures, it's very hard to ignore him. His infectious enthusiasm is the one that has really got us going. We can look at pretty bulls, but we've got to have pretty bulls that perform. We really do. And no one wants to take a bull home that they can't put in the front paddock. But at the end of the day, you know, we have the science and the technology now to be able to monitor their potential. And for a commercial breeder, it's essential to increasing our production. Otherwise, we may as well collect old animals and become a zoo.
In the wool shed, a hungry crowd is turning up to grab a bite before the auction starts.
Good everyone, I'm great pleasure and welcome you all here today to Kakahu, the 40th time in front of what I must say is a very large crowd of friends and supporters. This book, ladies and gentlemen, you're competing on contains some of the most genetically advanced Angus bulls available to us.
The relationships of
After 4 decades in the bullpen, Gerald has decided to hand over this last task to his son.
And this is my swan song. It's 40 years, so Tom's taking over now. He'll be in the ring, so this is my last, may not be my last speech, but it...
No, really?
I think there's been enough said. I think we get some balls out, don't we?
Right now, well, ladies and gentlemen, waiting patiently in the first of 11 today by Tombstone. Tombstone was the highest net feed efficiency bull of his year in the United States. $3,000 at 3-4 there, $4,000 at $4,000 at 5 away at 4,000. $4,000 at $4,000 now. Down he goes.
The first bull sells quickly.
8,008. Boys now. Hold on. Waiting for 8. 8's got him.
And the momentum continues.
Hold on. Goes to the walls. 10,005. 14. Surrey Hills. 18. Good. Yes, 5,000 there.
As the hammer falls on 2 years' worth of work, Gerald's left the ring to take up his new post, out the back, in the yards.
I'm right down at the bottom now, aren't I? It's where I should be. No regrets at all. Nice to be out the back here, or being a boy again. Generation turnover, it's called.
Before long, it's all over for another year.
Long day for us, but very happy. Last year we sold just over 100 bulls, and this year we sold 90, so still really happy with that. It means everybody went away with a bull that they wanted. Not sure of the average price, but it was about 7,000, so over 90 bulls, so we're really, really happy with that. Start from tomorrow onwards for next year.
Next time, the organic farmers of the south who've joined forces to sell their meat.
We've got 50 plus organic farmers that we work with. It's been quite a wee success story.
A network driven by a farmer and jack of all trades.
There's not much the Neville can't put his hand to, that's for sure.
A natural success. Next time on Hyundai Country Calendar.
Country Calendar is brought to you by Hyundai New Zealand.
Supporting local content so you can see more of New Zealand.